Hello friends, Straight Shooter here. I'm pretty excited about this taping. It was a little bit of a hassle to get all of these knives out of the safe at this location. This is what I have here at this location. And it's some pretty cool stuff. I'm going to do the first tape, and then Mrs. Straight Shooter is going to video me handling some of these knives. But let me just talk about the fact that 3 years ago, if you would have told me I would have had a whole collection of knives, and this is a portion of it, I would have said I doubt it. You know, I've got 4 or 5 and I'm happy. But once you get your hands, when I got my hands on this right there, an extra large Espada, that rocked my world and changed everything. And I got to put you in the mindset I was in. I was in my business suit, sitting at work, and going through my boxes that I get in the mail, and sure enough, I see one coming from Cold Steel, and I knew what it was. I knew it was this extra large Espada. So I'm sitting behind my desk, all buffed out in my suit, and I lock my door so no one can walk in on me. And when I opened this up, I said, oh my gosh. I was actually afraid to open it. It is just, the camera does not give it justice. It is so wicked. And the one thing I have to say about these knives, unlike a gun where you can unload it, a knife is always loaded. And this is just as deadly, if not more deadly at close quarters than a gun. I mean, if you look at some of the Cold Steel videos of what this knife does, or the Gurkha, what that does, or that's the large Espada, there's the medium-sized Espada. I've got 3 Spartans. There's the Raha, and you look at that Cold Steel website and look at some of the videos of them cutting through a cow carcass in half in a nanosecond. It would actually go through a human torso like a banana that doesn't even have skin on it. These are that sharp. These are sharper than anything I've ever even envisioned. I didn't think they could make knives these sharp. So safety is #1 with these weapons, because you cannot unlock them. You cannot take the bullets out. They're always ready to go. And I've cut myself enough times to tell you that if you just look at these wrong, they will cut you. So right now I'm just going to do a brief overview. There's 3 Spartans there. These come really tight, the Spartans in particular, so what you want to do is keep them at that angle and oil them up. I use the ballistol, and I'll do some other videos of some of the supplies I use on these knives. The ballistol, and it's called a tough cloth, T-U-F-F. And between those 2 things, I keep my blades pretty nice. This knife here, oh my gosh. See, there's a Gurkha. Of course, we know the Gurkhas go back hundreds of years. That blade shape, they've been used in battles going back even right now and existing in Afghanistan. The Nepal soldiers, they use that exact knife I'm looking at right now on their side. And when Mrs. Straight Shooter takes the camera, I'll explain a little bit more about these knives. The sheaths are just gorgeous. You get these from the Gurkha house. So there's 3 Spartans there. There's a medium Espada. There's 2 large Espadas. There's 2 extra large Espadas. Why would I get more than 1 of each? Well, what if Cold Steel stops making them? #1, then they're worth a lot of money. Kind of like the Raha 2. You can't buy a Raha 1 anymore. Try to get them now on eBay. You pay double, triple the price. So they will just out of the blue just stop making these knives. And if you have multiple cars, you want multiple knives if you like them that much. Kind of like a pair of shoes. If I get a pair of shoes I love, I'm going to get 2 of them. This is the Tomahawk from Cold Steel. There's the AK-47. Just really cool stuff. The Recon 1. I threw my SIG 5.56 .223 caliber in there just because it looks so cool. Cold Steel. Here's some machetes, and I got these razor sharp. I sharpen these myself. This one comes from Ontario Knife Company. That is razor blade sharp. These little cold steels, oh boy. I just can't tell you what type of weapons these are. Like I said, they're always loaded. And these Smith & Wessons, I just downloaded the PDF file of their 2011 knife catalog. It's pretty impressive. Smith puts out some nice stuff. And as we move around here, I'm realizing I didn't bring the Benchmade out. It's one of the nicest knives I've got. I'll put it in the next review. But the Benchmade is, of course, you know, probably the best quality knife out there today. There's a Beretta. I got to grab the Benchmade for the next video. So for now, I've got the sheets down here. If someone told me you can only have one of these knives, which one would it be? It would be that extra large Espada. And most guys really, I'm 6'4", 250, so I can hold a knife that large. Most guys would pick the large Espada, but it's pretty hard to pick. Any of these is my favorite. The Spartan's way up there too. They're all great. The Raha. And my carry system is, as I said in one of my previous videos, the Galco Miami Vice over-the-shoulder holster. I carry a Glock 29 10mm with the extension of extra magazine. It holds about 15+1. And then I carry a Kimber 3-inch 1911 Ultra Raptor from their special performance center. It's really a nice pistol. And so I've got those two guns, and sometimes I'll even throw a Smith & Wesson 340, 357 little J-frame in my pocket. It's so small. And I'll always carry two knives. You know, why carry so many weapons? You never know. I mean, what if you have to pass a weapon over to a friend if you get some crazy guy coming into a mall or a restaurant starting to shoot up the place? You can pass some weapons around to the people around you to help protect yourselves and attack this guy. Also, you never know at what position you're going to have to grab from. You know, you're in a carjacking. Can you get to your waist and pull that weapon out? Probably not, but maybe you can get to your Miami Vice holster. Or you can, if someone's behind you in a convenience store and they're robbing the place, and you might have to just pull out your Gurkha. Oh, well, you're not going to probably carry a Gurkha, but your Espada. And that'll take care of things pretty quick, like within a half a second. And that person's arm will be on the ground, and you won't have to worry about that weapon going off. So this is my portion of videotaping. I'm going to give the camera to Mr. Straight Shooty here in a moment. And I'm going to grab that Benchmade for the next recording because it's really a nice blade. Left it in the safe. Just can't brag enough about these things. The machetes, if you look at the edges, the way I sharpened them is I do use a bench grinder with an extremely fine stone. I would never put any other blade but a large machete on there. But it worked, and you know, these smaller knives, of course you want to use your own system with your own sharpening stone. And do it slowly and take your time. And another thing about sharpening is, what I've learned is, don't ever let them get dull, and then you won't have to worry about sharpening them too much, meaning that, you know, every 2, 3, 4 months, just give them a couple of swipes with your sharpening stone. And of course, cold steel should never have to be sharpened, because the only reason to use most of these weapons is, in heaven forbid, a defense mode. I would never use that Espada for anything else except defense. Now, that Gurkha, I'll bring it out when I go camping. I'll chop wood and make campfires, and that'll have to be sharpened. Keep your stone with you and just sit around the campfire and slowly just keep it sharp. Don't let it get to the point where it's past that point of no return where it's not going to get sharp again, where you got to send it to the factory. I like my tomahawk, and I'm going to bring the camera over to a gun shop here locally called K&W Gun Works, and you're going to meet some gentlemen there that are really into this stuff. Like I said, my site's called Weapons Education is because I'm going to interview people who are really into this stuff and are knowledgeable, like gunsmith and federal arms dealers who sell these, who has a Class 3 license to sell these weapons. And I'm going to be going to the gun shop and interviewing some of these gentlemen, and they're going to really give you the education. I'm just a hobbyist, obviously. And right now I'm just giving you an overview of some of my collection. But this gentleman at K&W, when I met him, I go, well, what do you need a tomahawk for? And he's got one when he gets out of his car. Well, he's got one in a little hidden spot because no one knows your home the way you do. If you got two guys doing a home invasion, no one knows where your weapons are hidden, obviously, and no one knows your secret hiding spots, and you can navigate around your home, and you got one of these somewhere, and you got a Gurkha hanging out somewhere. Of course, you'll have some weapons hanging around somewhere in different places of your home, of course safe, secured, locked, away from children. But this guy's got baseball bats. He pulled out weapons from all over parts of his body. I didn't even know he was armed. He must have had 8 or 9 weapons on him. And just really interesting. I can't wait for you to meet some of these gentlemen who do this for a living. And they're that knowledgeable. So I'll be going there in the next few weeks and doing some intensive interviews with these gentlemen and talking about ballistics and different bullets and talking about different weapons and what's coming out in the future. And then the 100th anniversary of the Colt. A lot of cool stuff we'll talk about. All right, so I'm checking out of this video right now. Straight shooter checking out. And I'm going to be on the other side of the table here in a moment. Take care.